Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday.
Our topic is snow days because my children had a definite complaint with our school district this week when they failed to get a snow day that they thought they were entitled to. And they were real mad about that. And they were still mad at the end of the school day.
Wow.
When they came home. Like, guys, it's, let it go. It's over now. And they were still upset.
Well, what was your thought on it? Did you feel it should have been a snow day?
I didn't really care. I mean, I was not thrilled that my 16-year-old was driving in it.
Right.
That is a whole nother angle.
Yeah, because what happened was it started snowing, in the morning. And so by the time they would had to make a decision about school, it was not bad, even though it was predicted to keep going. And so, part of the problem was that some of the other school districts nearby had canceled, the night before.
Yeah.
So they're just, that was extremely unjust. And then it snowed in the morning and during the day. And, my son was like, I had to look out the window all day watching it snow.
Jeez.
And, his school is like half a mile from our house, if that. Like, it's really close. It's no problem. But, it was, especially during the mid to late, during the midday, it was pretty snowy, and they canceled like the afternoon pre-K and stuff like that. But yeah, they didn't cancel.
Let me ask you, how does that decision get made where you are, and when does it get made? Because quite frequently here in New Jersey, which gets hugely less snow than where you live in Wisconsin, and also panics over hugely less snow to the point where we're all going to die, go get toilet paper and milk.
Right.
So here it seems quite often that they're making the decision too early. And therefore, we often have snow days where there is not any actual snow.
Right.
Which people complain about. And occasionally, every now and then, some poor administrator goes out on a limb and says, I don't think it's going to snow, and then it's a blizzard. So I would not want that job for any amount of money, because no matter what you do, there's going to be people complaining about it.
Oh, exactly. You cannot win.
It seems like they either need to get better weather intelligence in our town or decide later. I think it has to do with buses. There maybe is a time at which you can no longer
cancel the bus.
Cancel the bus or marshal the buses. I'm not sure. How does that work where you are, where there is actually sometimes a reason to maybe call school?
Right.
More than like 3 snowflakes in one place, which is the standard here.
And we can deal with snow.
Yes.
And I think in this case, it was the timing of it. Like if it would have started a little bit earlier during the night, and they would have, looked out their window at 4 a.m. or whatever time they decide, then they would be like, oh yeah, there's too much. But if, at that time, there wasn't all that much. So it's hard to say. Yeah. And here, if it snows during the night, but if it stops, they will plow and everything will be fine by 7 a.m. They just get it done. But so in my experience, it's been more common that they've canceled school because it's too cold.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because kids can't be outside waiting for buses or walking to school or whatever. When it's like 20 below. There's a temperature cutoff.
That's interesting.
That they use. So
we've had school canceled for being too hot, but not too cold.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a little easier then because it's just like, what's the temperature and what's the forecast for 7 to 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
That's the time when it matters. So,
yeah.
Well, I'm just sitting back here listening to you both.
Well, now where you are, do they have heat days?
No. They used to, I believe.
I remember going to school some pretty hot days.
Although, I mean, they'll have days where they don't go outside and do PE.
Mm.
I think it's over 100.
Yeah.
They won't go do PE. Or they'll be inside, but...
that would have been my favorite day.
Yeah. I remember my daughter and son were doing PE. They would... If it was a really, really hot day, they'd stay inside. But definitely no snow days here. Although maybe up in the mountains they do, but not down here where we are.
Yeah.
But definitely...
And how about when you were a teacher in Canada?
Yeah.
No, we didn't have snow days. I mean, you just go.
You just deal.
You deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had, when I was growing up in northern Ontario, no, it wasn't even closed because of the cold. I mean, there were days that were really, really, really cold, and we'd walk to school.
Yeah.
That was just how we did it. So
yeah, I have a friend who grew up in Alaska, and she's got stories.
Yeah.
Crazy weather that was just like, well,
Yeah.
dress warm.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for the one winter I lived in Kansas City, I mean, I had no children. It was just me getting to work. But my memory was that stuff didn't close. You got yourself to work. Maybe you were a little late because, you were stuck behind a snowplow, but life went on.
Mm-hmm.
And I assumed the schools all opened too. Because if they closed there for the kind of snow they have here in New Jersey, there would be no school for like 4 months.
Weeks at a time.
Yeah. So
that's the same here.
Yeah. Are people happy with that? Do you have people who wish they closed school more, or do you have parents going, when I was a kid, we went to school, we took the snowplow, or we took the snowmobile, and we got our butts to school? Kids today.
I think it's probably a little bit of both. You have the parents who are like, this is ridiculous. We all know how to drive in snow.
Yeah.
And let's just not disrupt our whole lives. But then you have the other parents who are like, I don't want to go out, so therefore I don't want to send my kid out.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's very hard because, a lot of times with the activities like hockey and skating and stuff, it's just parents, you decide if it's safe enough. And I hate having to make that call myself.
Yeah.
Right.
People who live south of me will be contacting me and say, how are the roads? I'm like, I don't know. Like, they're fine, I guess. I don't know, because people have different levels of comfort with driving.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to drive up. I'd commute an hour on a highway that would frequently. I mean, it snowed a lot, and we'd end up having chains on our tires or getting studded tires, and
yeah,
it was just, I don't know. It was almost like you didn't want to back out because then you'd appear a little bit too.
That's right.
Yeah,
too wimpy.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's hard too for parents if their work is not closing, and then you've got the kids home on a snow day. So that's a legitimate gripe, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But from the kids' point of view, I can certainly see any excuse to get a day off school.
But then I thought they make it up, don't they? If there's like too many, or don't they?
If there's too many. In our district, they usually build in maybe 2, and then
ours too.
If there's more than 2, then they add them to the end of the year.
Yeah, like what a downer.
They do that here too, and that's why sometimes these snow days where there was not any actual snow means that you have to like take a day off of spring break. It's not good, but
that's why you don't want that job, because then
why I would not want that job. Yes, indeed. I try not to vent my spleen at people who make those calls because, that's not easy. It's not like they're doing it on purpose. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're saying, I don't feel like getting out of bed today. Let's close the schools. Right. It's like they're having to make that decision based on incomplete information.
Yeah.
And either way, if they get it wrong.
Right.
I used to, it was amusing when my kids were at community college. The college had a Facebook page, and anytime there was any snow predicted, it would be full of kids going, is college going to be canceled? Class going to be canceled? Classes should be canceled. Have you heard the weather? It says it's going to be terrible to drive. You want to kill all of us by making us come in. This community college closed. That one closed. All of these are closed. And some poor schlub in that office had to sit there and going, as soon as we know, we will let you know. We will announce here when we know. Over and over, this person is typing. Thank you for your concern. We'll let you know. And they were saying that, some people, they've paid their money for class. They want to actually, go to class. So we can't just be closing it right and left.
Right.
So difficult work. Unappreciated.
Yes. Well,
it's raining here. We better close the podcast.
Yeah. Actually, that would happen in LA. We don't have snow days. We have rain days.
That's right.